Our personality of the week has lived an ethical life all through its sojourn in life. An internationally acclaimed Mr. Integrity and a Nigerian brand in the forefront of fighting corruption. Born in October 1954, hails from Abeokuta, Ogun State, in the southwestern part of Nigeria. Ishaq Oloyede, popularly called Mr. JAMB, had his elementary school in Lagos, which he regarded as fun as he shares his early childhood.
I was born in Lagos. My parents were both from Abeokuta in Ogun State. But growing up in Lagos was fun. Everybody was a caretaker of the other. And we were living a communal life. And we enjoyed our growing up to the fullest. And like any other child, I had a fair share of my fun as a child in Lagos. I attended Talim Islam Ahmadiyya Primary School. I started at what you call Okemeta Primary School in Shomolu. Then I went to Talim Islam Ahmadiyya Primary School in Ebute Meta. My father's house was in Akoka, the real Akoka, not where it is called Akoka now, you know. So we used to trek. We would trek from Akoka, Igbari, Akoka, Abule Jesha, Abule Oja, St. Agnes, Sabo, and then we go to Alagomeji, and then we go into Simpson, where our school was. We trekked to school in the morning. In the afternoon, we are back. But Lagos was fun to all of us.
The brilliance of this Nigerian brand was apparent in his early years. In spite of that, he proceeded to a series of Arabic schools, capping it with Morikas Agege after his secondary education. Professor Oloyede's Arabic proficiency was further enhanced at the prestigious University of Ibadan for more studies.
I didn't attend the conventional secondary school. I went to Arabic school, different Arabic schools. Then I ended up at Markaz Talim al-Arabi in Agege, Lagos, and where I had my training in Arabic and Islamic studies. Then did my O-level, A-level, went to the University of Ibadan for certificate in Arabic and Islamic studies. Then from there I came to the University of Ilorin, where I had my first degree, my second degree.
This was just the springboard required to transit to the University of Ilorin, where he spent the better part of his life. From the undergraduate days, graduate assistant, Jumat service interpreter, rising through the ranks to the exalted position of the Vice Chancellor of the Great Citadel of Learning.
For me, University of Ilorin had always been a very strong and very viable, strong, good university. It was just that we were dragged into unnecessary controversy, and attention was then focused on what has always been good at the University of Ilorin. I can say without any reservation that University of Ilorin was in the forefront of student and even staff union activism. We were in the ASU, all those things, anything ASU, you talk about University of Ilorin. But at a point in time, the administrators, unfortunately, when people talk about whether for good or for bad, what happened at the University of Ilorin, they will bring me in. And many even overstate my role. I wasn't the Vice Chancellor, I wasn't Deputy Vice Chancellor, I wasn't I wasn't a principal officer. At the time of the crisis, it was just because coming from ASU side and what appeared to them, to some people as betrayal, that how can you stand against the union? for me, I was supporting ASUU because ASUU was right. So I do not support anything for the sake of supporting. If you are right, I will continue to support you. But no matter how much in love I am with an idea or with a system, for as that system is not working well, I will decide that system. So for me, when the university administration, in my opinion, was wrong, I was an activist in terms of struggling against them. At a point when it became clear to me that ASUU was derailing, I had no option than to stand against the ASUU to say, look, this is not the ASUU we were planning for. This is not the ASUU we were working for. At a point, I think we got it wrong. I mean those who are managing the affairs of ASUU. And of course, I had to stand by what I believe is correct. And that was why it appeared that I wasn't the vice chancellor. I was, the only rule was that, like any other representative of Senate, I was in the council of the university, which was not an executive position. But because of my role in ASUU in those days, so I became the center of attraction. And people were saying, oh, if Oloyede could say that ASUU is wrong, then something must be wrong either with Oloyede or with ASUU. So I think that was what went wrong. And I think we must have learned our lessons that the nation is greater than any institution. And it does not matter how good you think your case is, we cannot destroy the system. And that's the point. You cannot, because you are quarreling with your sibling, you set your father's house on fire.
Being a university don did not stop Oloyede's activism of charting the right course, irrespective of the divide being affected, either the student body, lecturers, or the university governing body. Apart from adding value in the four walls of the university, Professor Ishaq Oloyede shares with us how he was invited to serve as coordinator of NIREC and later the Secretary General of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs and many other national assignments.
Really cannot say that it was a build-up because I wasn't planning to be a VC. Of course, I couldn't have planned to be a VC because it will be beyond my imagination. So I couldn't have planned to be a VC. And I was not, it's just that along the line, people felt you could be a VC, and I was. And I think it was just a privilege. And one thank God for that. While I was a deputy vice chancellor, President Obasanjo, I think that was 2007. President Obasanjo, when the secretary, the national coordinator of NIREC, Nigeria Interreligious Council, Reverend Bajeden, when he decided to go into politics, President Obasanjo invited me to take over the coordinatorship of NIREC, and I took it up. So because I consider it an honor, I'm a student of Islamic studies. If I'm asked to do something related to my discipline, I saw it as national service. As I was accepting that, then the then Secretary General of the Nigerian Supreme Council, Dr. Adegbite, then it says, put pressure on me that he was getting old. He wanted me to be Secretary General. I said, look, I couldn't have done. You see, I was Deputy Vice Chancellor. I was coordinating NIREC. How could I now be? And I declined. And because I thought I couldn't do the two. At a point, they put pressure. Okay, you can be deputy. Okay, I can be deputy, but I cannot be. Then I became one of the deputies, and I was so. Later, by the time I was finishing as Vice Chancellor, there was the pressure that, oh, you can see. I said no, I couldn't do it. But as God will have it, somehow I was able to resist Dr. Adegbite. He wanted to resign and asked me to, but I thank God I didn't. I refused. But when eventually he died, may God be pleased with him, pressure became, and people put pressure on me, and I felt, okay, since I was no longer Vice Chancellor, I could now take that up. It wasn't a paid appointment. It was an honorary, just like NIREC coordinator. It's not something you leave your job. It's not a full-time duty. It's an honorary title that you go there once a month or once a fortnight to render services that you could. So I decided to accept to do that. So those things, you see that they are accidents. They are not something, no sane person who had wanted to combine those duties together.
Teaching to him was by choice, as our erudite professor explains the difficulty in living an ethical life and the various hurdles of fighting corruption. He, however, has a counsel for governments on the various strategies to fight corruption.
It is because the society itself is not ethical. You see, the society makes demand. The society, the people, they make demand, the demand of people more than their capacity. And there are many communities in Nigeria do not even ask where your wealth is coming from. So it is possible for somebody to now become wealthy overnight, and people will start worshiping such things. It's uncommon. Where I come from, in Abeokuta, in the Yoruba land, it's not likely that you just become rich and people will start to respect you for the riches. They will say it as loud as possible. Who is this person? Where did he get the money from? And they will question, and such things, I consider them ingredients for anti-corruption in the society. But when you have a society, in the Nigerian case, talking generally as Nigeria, I think many communities are worshiping money. And because they are worshiping money, no matter how unethical anybody, the route towards making wealth, people believe that once they acquire the wealth, they will be respected and they will have the honor. Even our traditional rulers will give them titles. Universities will give them honorary degree just because they had money. They cannot. When you visit some of our convocation and you listen to the citation of those people that have been given honorary degree, you will be asking yourself, apart from having money, what was the achievement? And you just know that it's the society itself that is giving birth to these unethical practices. And I believe that, yes, government is trying, particularly now, government is making effort to reinstore, to reinstate the normal ethical ways of behaving. But I think we should be more, we should plan more and then be more organized. You see, corruption is a very serious matter. Corruption has taken a life of its own. We are underestimating the value, we are underestimating the utility of corruption. Because when you have a corrupt person, around him there will develop a large number of network of volunteers who will work for him even without his or her knowledge. And those people are ready to kill themselves or to kill others for the sake of protecting corruption. So corruption is not something you just wake up and without plan, without program, and you think you can confront, and it has the capacity to swallow you, and the person who is fighting corruption will become the victim, and he will be painted, because corruption has the capacity to create impression that is not real. And before you know, even the person who is preaching the gospel of anti-corruption will be presented as the most corrupt. And God save him if he's able to get out of such impression, because the system encourages people who have grievances against anti-corruption. And they can easily, they don't need to spend, because a large number of people are corrupt, and they are afraid that if you pick a corrupt person, it's a way, or if you do not fight now, you can spread the anti-corruption and it will swallow all of them. So as a result of that, they will willingly protect a corrupt person. But somebody who is not corrupt, even when people pretend that they like him or her, it's pretension. If they have the opportunity, many people would deal with him, because they believe, oh, is he an agent? Is he trying to say that he's an angel? They would look for how to criminalize the person. And you just need to be more careful than even the corrupt person, because you can find yourself in a situation that you yourself will find it difficult to believe that you are right. So I believe that our system encourages corruption, and that is why people have this unethical practice.
Having served as Deputy Vice Chancellor and later Vice Chancellor of a reputable university, how did he receive the announcement as the Registrar of Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB?
Like a friend of mine would joke, I don't think that it will be the dream of any Vice Chancellor. I've been a Vice Chancellor, I've been a Pro-Chancellor. It's not the dream of any Vice Chancellor to become a registrar. A registrar is normally in the university system, so is subordinate to a Vice Chancellor. So if somebody is praying and dreaming, my dream could not have been to be demoted to the position of registrar, but that's a joke. The real issue, to be serious about it, was that I consider it also an accident. But I was asked to come and do something. Okay, let's give it a try. I think I can do it. Yes. One of the reasons why I accepted the offer of being registrar of JAMB was that I felt that there were things that I believe could be done better. And I felt that we can also minimize costs. I also believe that the process, like you have in other parts of the country, can be made more beneficial to the system. And when you take all those, and you have the opportunity of being offered, being appointed, not just being offered. Being offered, being offered by announcement of your name, and you having a letter that you have been appointed, then you look at it that, okay, I can do it, let me give it a try. If I can't do it, I will leave it. So I then feel that, okay, but I felt that given what we have done at the University of Ilorin concerning the computer-based tests, we championed it, and I happened to be on the driving seat at that time. I felt that, yes, we can, what we have tried at that level, we can now see how we can use it to promote, to contribute to national development.
Fighting corruption or living an ethical life in Nigeria comes with several challenges. Does Professor Ishaq Oloyede not have trepidations and fear while fighting corruption, even with absolute trust in Allah?
It's not an easy thing. It's not easy because at times you will ask yourself, whose war am I fighting? Because you are not even sure that anybody or the system will protect you, because you are struggling against people who had voice, who are respected by the society, who had access to the media. You see, the media creates a number of persons that they exist because the media claim they exist. So if it's not easy, but I believe that you need to plan. You also need to be watchful of what one, and you also need to have more importantly, a plan, because you don't fight all corruptions at a time. So there, you have to be tolerant of some, knowing fully well that this is wrong, but you have a greater level. You have a higher level to go, and therefore you will tolerate some and then go for the meat of the matter. Because if you are to be running after everyone, then you will not get to where you are going. So I believe that there must be strategy for fighting corruption. If you don't have strategy for fighting corruption, corruption will swallow any society, not just in Nigeria. But because it's endemic in Nigeria, you have to determine, study the situation, determine which one you will tolerate for how long. And then you take, there are certain things that you ordinarily don't want to do. But when you look at what is the goal, what is the ultimate for the society, you now think that, look, if I have to fight this one and fight this one, I will not have the strength to fight a greater war. So it's better for you to tolerate those ones that you believe are subsidiaries of corruption, and you then go for the meat of the corruption. When you get to the meat of the corruption, you struggle. You are going to clean the whole society. You see, and it's one of the reasons when people talk about the current administration, my own is this. I do not believe that they have strategy. I do not believe. But if they have strategy, and I don't need to know if they have strategy, it might be part of their strategy that you don't fight all the people that you perceive as corrupt at a time. You need the assistance of some people to fight the greater corruption. If, for instance, within 3.5 years, they have been able to achieve over 300 convictions, that is an achievement to me. And if you now say there are 20 cases of corruption that they had closed their eyes to, I would say yes. If it is a strategy, I would support such a strategy. That you say, okay, there are instances of A, B, C, D, E. We will come back to those ones at later date. But let us clean the larger society and then come back to those ones. I believe that if there is a strategy, and there must be a strategy if you want to gain fight corruption in Nigeria. If there is a strategy, you will have to tolerate some at the early stage. You just have a plan that I will tolerate this for this period, then I'll be able to achieve this. At that time, I would have been able to exclude this. And at the end of the day, you will get you will be able to achieve the goal.
How does his belief in the Islamic tenet guide him in all the positions he has held and still holding? The
Arabic schools I attended, the teachers, they were able to inculcate on us this true spirit of Islam. Even at the university, my teachers at the university level, they had correct Islam to teach to one. And if you understand Islam very well, I believe, yes, nothing is bad with police, nothing is bad with EFCC, nothing is bad with ICPC, but they are not as effective as God policing you. If you know that God sees you wherever you are, you would not be afraid of other human structures which may see you, which may detect you, which may not detect you, which may even have the weakness of being able to really arrest the situation and make you to pay. But if you fear God, that consciousness that God sees you will control. You see, for me, to me, it's God. It's my training as a student of Islamic studies. To some people, it might be what they call conscience. for me, I believe that my training as a student of Islam had contributed to my personality, it has contributed to my perception about life, about what the whole world is all about, because you know that one day you are going to account to God.
Our AIMS media team sought its counsel for the youth. Its response shifted to the parents who deserve to be counseled for erroneous priorities.
The youths themselves are the problem. I think the adults, for instance, as JAMB registrar, I do not have problem with the candidates. I have more problems with the parents, because they are the one creating somebody who is not a person. He's just a person by theoretically, but he wants to be a human being that is not. And you see him, he has nothing in his CV. All he wanted to do that, to add to his CV, he wants to be the mother or father of a medical doctor. So if the child does not want to read medicine, you must read medicine at all costs. Because even if you don't have the capacity for medicine, I want to be a father of a medical doctor, I want to be a mother, and they will go at any length to even fraudulently acquire qualification for their ward or their child, because they want to be a mother or a father of a medical doctor. Even at times when you close up with the candidates themselves, they will tell you. You see that it's just, we are using these young boys and girls because we are not giving them the right model. You celebrate what you ought not to celebrate. When you see the mothers, go to any, particularly in the southwestern part of Nigeria, go to any party. Look at the type of dance, the type of song that mothers are singing. Mothers. You will be surprised that if these are mothers, God save us from their children. So I believe that we need to get it right with the, and I don't think it's very difficult to do if people are disciplined, if people have vision, if people know that whether we like it or not, we are still going to reverse from the trend we are going now. Because we are going to reach a saturated point, a point of saturation that we will know that it doesn't pay anybody. So our steps, I don't think we should get there before we reverse. And that's why it's better for us to have a rethink.
Our erudite professor is a true family man who is happily married to Dr. Ishaq Oloyede, who is equally in the academics. When was he hit by the Cupid arrow? His response brought out his humorous side, while also alluding to his relaxation style.
I knew we were together at the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. And I think, well, as students we met, and because we were unmarried, so one way or the other we would be attracted one way or the other, and I decided to choose her and she decided to accept me. So that's how we met. I've been relaxing since morning, enjoying myself.
AIMS Media Company Limited, on behalf of Nigerians, home and in diaspora, celebrates Professor Ishaq Oloyede, an Egba-born, incorruptible administrator with zero tolerance to corruption, a master strategist in nipping corruption, and Enigma as our personality of the week on the scorecard segment of Pathway to Jannah.
Every second I live, every penny I give is just for you. Every breath I breathe, every trace I leave is just for you.